In Caribbean Radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey. The most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
There's a silver lining, so don't give up hope now. We gotta keep on trying. Oh Lord, we gotta keep on going. We gotta keep on moving on. Be of a strong, positive mind. Negative thoughts, leave them behind. We got to go forward in sure certainty. Let no element humbug that possibility. But if you give up, you have no way of knowing if next day would have brought good tidings. Don't you know, behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now. We gotta keep on trying. Oh Lord, we gotta keep on going. We gotta keep on moving on. Behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now. We gotta keep on trying. We gotta keep on going. We gotta keep on moving on. We know it's a long and winding road, and we got a heavy load, but we have to hold it straight. Get up and try again, because behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now. When everything seemed to be gone, the worst thing to do is sit down and mourn. Don't let frustration get the better of you and make you do things you should never do. You got to keep the faith, you can't surrender. You never know, tomorrow may be brighter. Behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now. We gotta keep on trying. Oh Lord, we gotta keep on going. We gotta keep on moving on. As long as you have health and strength, reaching your goal, nothing should prevent. Every time you fall, get up again. Don't sit down there like that and complain. You got to stand up and continue fighting. Don't give up, keep courage, you must win. Don't you know, behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now. We gotta keep on trying. Oh Lord, we gotta keep on going. We gotta keep on moving on. Obstacles will get in the way, stumbling blocks to hinder your day. you can't afford to let them stop you. No matter how hard it is to go through, you got to stand up and continue fighting. Endurance shall win in the ending. Don't you know, behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now. We gotta keep on trying. Oh Lord, we gotta keep on going. We gotta keep on moving on.
I need you, Lord, right now. Yeah, yeah. I must tell Jesus all of my trials. I cannot bear these burdens alone. In my distress, He kindly will help me. He heaven loves and cares for His own. I must tell Jesus. I must tell Jesus. I cannot be. No. My burdens alone. I must tell Jesus. I must tell Jesus. Jesus can help me. Only Jesus alone. I must tell Jesus all of my troubles. He is a kind and compassionate friend. If I ask Him, He will deliver. Make all my troubles quickly and hand. I must tell Jesus. I must tell Jesus. I cannot be. I must tell Jesus. My burdens alone. I must tell Jesus. I must tell Jesus. Jesus can help me. Only Jesus alone. What must I do when worldliness calls me? What must I do when tempted to sin? I must tell Jesus, and He will help me over the world, victory to win. I must tell Jesus. I must tell Jesus.
Jesus.
I cannot be.
I must
No.
have Jesus.
My burdens are low.
Burdens alone.
I must have Jesus. I must have Jesus. Jesus can help me. Jesus can help me. Only Jesus can help me.
Keep me as the apple of thine eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wing. O Lord, my Savior. It's so hard to deal with personal struggle. So sad when you feel alone in your trouble. It's real hard when you want to talk to a brother. It's so bad because of how some look at you after. So Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover my head. Satan want me dead. Cover my back from human attack. So Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. People see you smile, but don't know the hurt that you're feeling. Even as God's child, at times your heart does be bleeding. Where can you go when you're really looking for healing? Who know how to flow when your soul needs some restoring? So Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me home from evils unknown. Cover my feet so I'll never retreat. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover my brother, them who under pressure. Cover, 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 cover the preacher, every church worker, the young believer. Cover, 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 the worship leader and intercessor, every gospel minister. Cover, cover, cover. Jesus alone is the one who has the real answer. The one on the throne is the true and loving Father. He will hold your hand and keep you from going under. He will make you stand and let you know he's a fixer. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover my mind. You know the struggle sometimes. Cover my mouth, that the wrong thing wouldn't come out. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover the Christian in the midst of aggression with the power of your right hand. Jesus, cover, cover, cover them helpless children. Jesus, defend them. Send help from heaven. Jesus, cover, cover, cover all them radio stations that
Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even the dull and ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself.
You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here, and whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should.
Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career. However humble, it is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness, beyond a wholesome discipline. Be gentle with yourself.
You are
a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive Him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life. Keep peace with your soul, with all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams. It is still a beautiful world. Be careful. Strive to be happy.
You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. You are a child of the universe, no less.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude.
Yes, 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 yes. Let me say a special hello to all the WZY 95.9 FM listeners. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's Sunday Talk, Let's Talk Politics with Uncle Tommy, Professor Walsheet, and you on WZY 95.9 FM. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we come to you every Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. That's every Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. And ladies, when you get in, don't forget, share the live, WZY 95.9 FM on Facebook, WZY TV on YouTube, and WZY 95.9 FM on Twitter, better known as X. And of course, we always say to you, doesn't matter what color t-shirt you wear a purple t-shirt, a burgundy t-shirt, a orange t-shirt. Each and every one is welcome on Sunday Talk, Let's Talk Politics. Doesn't matter what planet you're from Mazatanians, Venerians, Sunaranians. Each and every one is welcome here on WZYE 95.9 FM. Let me bring in my partner, the one and only, the man himself, the man commonly known as Uncle Tommy. Tommy, welcome.
Good afternoon, and it's a pleasure being here on the Sunday Talk. I said I was going to say in the village, but on Sunday Talk, we look forward to a wonderful afternoon this one.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think the temperature is supposed to go up here to about 70
Yeah,
something, to say.
I think they say
No?
it may get to as high as 80 in certain places in New Jersey.
Yeah. So I figure when I finish here, I'll go and take a little run, you know what I mean?
Yep.
When I finish the show, I like to run after the show rather than before the show.
All
Because
right.
some people just get, you know, I just feel a sense of kind of,
Relaxation.
eh?
You're more relaxed after the show.
Yeah. And I go and I spend a little half an hour running and thing. And I just feel splendid for us. Let me put it that way.
But how has it been lately with the feelings that you were experiencing? It's behind you now?
Tommy Boy is behind me now, but I just take each day as it comes, man. Because it has feel good, and I might do a workout. The next thing, I ain't even know what. You know, so every day I consider it to be a good day.
All
That's how I
right.
do. Yeah, correct. So let me go to the chat quickly here. We see Bijram was in first today.
Mm-hmm.
Good day, Uncle Tommy on Wall Street. All that lock on. But Bijram tell me what you having today?
The menu is today.
What is the menu today, man? 10 minutes spent on a holiday, nothing to 10 million spent on a holiday, nothing to show. No profit, waste of time, but great is the P&M. Oh God, Bijram start early, but
It's politics.
yeah, Bijram ain't wasting no time. Joan, welcome. Joan says, good day, everyone watching from Brooklyn, but happy Sunday, my friend. Yeah, Joan.
Good
Joan from
afternoon to
Brooklyn, man.
you, Joan, and welcome. to Sunday Talk.
Kish Kish. Welcome, boy.
Fish,
Kish, you inside, you inside. Good day to you, Kish. You inside.
I've been missing you, Kish Kish. Glad to see that you're home.
Yeah, yeah, come back home. I come back home for the carnival. I come back. Who sing that song? Remember
Ronnie,
that song?
Ronnie
Oh, I
Mackin.
Ronnie McIntosh.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, all right. Caribbean Soul, you inside. Welcome. Renwick. Renwick, boy. Live on direct out at Tobago, boy. Renwick, watch yourself when you go by the beach, you know. But that, they says, what they say is a bull shark. They have bull shark in Tobago,
A
Tommy.
10-foot bull shark.
Well, yeah. I mean, is that global warming or climate change? Is that you think that's part of it?
You could never tell. Could be, could very well be.
Yeah.
Because
Caribbean.
they've never had an incident like that before, at least not that we know about or that's been publicized.
Yeah, but you know what I didn't understand? I didn't understand the $10,000 reward for the shark.
For anybody catching the shark, if anybody were to bring the shark in,
So, but I think they rescinded it, right?
yeah, it's been withdrawn.
So, so Tom, you had also go and catch the shark and bring it in, right? To get the reward.
I guess you could, if you kill the shark too, one way or another.
But but yeah, if you kill it, you had to catch it too. You had to kill it and catch it.
Yeah, it was to catch it, you had to kill it. Yeah, I would imagine because if it's alive, then you might not be alive.
I didn't I didn't really get that. You know. I didn't too understand that. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, something wrong. Yeah, good day to you, Takisha. Yeah, I didn't understand that part, but anyhow, they did the right thing, right? Caribbean Soul say it could be due to the oil spill also.
You think
Huh?
so?
I don't know, you know.
That's not in the area where the oil spill was. That was on that was near Turtle Bay area.
But I would more think that if I am a if I'm a shark, I don't want to go where no oil spill is. I want to go away from there because
Correct.
I might I might swallow the water or something. You know, or I might eat a few other um other things in the ocean that have that oil on it.
And they may have to refine you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it mightn't turn out too well.
Mm.
Yeah. So but Tommy,
Instead of getting shark oil from you, they will be getting petroleum.
petroleum oil, petrol they be getting. That's what they be getting. But Tommy, I didn't understand something, eh?
Go ahead.
Um I saw I saw something from let me see if I still have it here. From Rhoda Barrett. Talking about let me see if I still have it here. Um talking about all right, no, we don't want that one. Talking about what going on in Trinidad and Tobago. You know, we were talking about how in Trinidad and Tobago, Tommy, over the past few years,
Yeah.
especially under the RPNM, there have been some gruesome and out of the way things happening.
Yes.
You know, and Rhoda Barrett, I was shocked. Rhoda Barrett put out a post that kind of said the same thing, that we have been having some of the most gruesome murders. Well, she didn't say that. You know, I'm gonna look for what she said. Let me look and see if I can find what she said. so I could quote exactly, and I don't misquote her.
Well, the bard is kind of singing a different song these days, no?
Yeah. She's singing a different song. She ain't singing the same song she used to be singing before. She's singing on a different hymn book, so to speak. Let me put it that way.
You sure it's not the same old song with a different meaning?
That could be too, Tommy. That is also very possible. Um, you know, I delete it.
Oh,
I saved it. Oh, yeah. I saved it. Then I deleted it, I think. Hold on, let me check again. Is this it here? Nah, that's not it there. And she said, that's not it either. I was shocked that she actually said that. Um, it looked like I may have deleted it. Yeah, I deleted it. Let me see. Let me see if I could go to Twitter and look for her. Maybe that might help. Twitter. Rhoda Barrett. Let me search. Rhoda. Uh, there we go. Okay. Yes, here it is. Why is this country such a persistent horror story?
very well.
Why is this country such a persistent horror story? That's come from Rhoda Barrett.
I guess she's piggybacking on DJ Bravo.
I want to guess so. I don't know. Or she may be listening silently to us and realize some of the things that we have said. Yeah?
Mhm. Well, the S is out of Port of Spain, eh? So
Yeah. Who take the S out of? You're right. Walls Fally put out a bounty on the bull. Capiza. Capiza. Fally said the post was fake. He came out and said that. Okay. Yeah, because so yeah, she had a post out saying it was recalled. So Fally said it was fake. Fally made a transformational move according to Capiza.
Mhm.
Yeah, we Capitan. H3 say H3 could say that's all I know. He put out, then retracted, then said it was fake. Rhoda the answer is PNM. Tommy,
Mhm.
I I listened to something in Parliament Friday,
Okay.
and I asked myself, are we really living in Trinidad and Tobago, boy? Well, let
And
me say.
what did yourself answer? What did yourself answer and tell you?
Oh God, what did myself answer and tell me? So there was this thing about $2.6 billion in revenue that was missing, and the Minister of Finance came back to the Parliament in order for them to correct the error.
Rectify the error. Yes.
Yeah, that somehow they missed revenue of $2.6 billion.
Correct.
I don't get that, Tommy. I don't get.
You see, the worst part of the whole equation is that the person, Ms. Ramdas, who was supposed to be okaying and checking this, put the brakes on, and there seemed to be an effort to bully her, which is the style of this RPNM, as you would say. And that bullying ain't working because she wasn't taking no shorts.
But I just I don't understand that, man. Anyhow, let's listen to the opposition leader.
The question for debate. Be it resolved that for the purpose of the financial accounts for 2023, that the period of time under Section 24(1) of the Exchequer and Audit Act be extended from the period of 4 months after the 30th September 2023 to a period of 8 months after the 30th of September 2023. And be it further resolved that for the purpose of the financial accounts for 2023, that the period of time under Section 25(1) of the Exchequer and Audit Act be extended from the period of 7 months after the 30th of September 2023 to a period of 11 months after the 30th of September 2023. Member for Superior.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I listened very attentively to the Honourable Minister because when we got this supplementary order paper on Wednesday, it was Wednesday, the 24th. Yeah, it's dated the 24th. Yes, it's correct. 24th. Wednesday, 24th of April, we were really flabbergasted, if that's a proper word to use, because we are seeing that we are laying the reports, papers 5 and 6 on the supplementary order paper, and I see we have them because they're on the table there. So, Honourable Madam Speaker did receive them as per the constitutional provisions, statutory provisions. And how is it that we're going to be laying these reports, but then we are asking to extend time for the Auditor General to carry out certain further work, further consideration of accounts submitted after the deadline date of January. And we have been told today that part of the explanation has to be with an understatement of revenue of about $2.6 billion for fiscal 2023. We've been told it has something to do with checks and electronic checks and all kinds of checks. And then we have been told that the Auditor General declined to accept the updated public accounts and then subsequently took them on April 16, 2024. We are told about $3 billion revenue had to be audited, which went in, as I say, after the deadline date. But the Auditor General presented a report without auditing the so-called corrected figures. Madam Speaker, I don't buy a single word of that explanation. I do not buy a single word of that explanation. In all the years I have been here, I have never seen this happen. And indeed, I have here a listing of the reports over the years, of the dates of the reports themselves, date of submission to this House and the Senate, and the laying of said reports. So I don't really understand what is happening here. I am being told that the Auditor General is being pressured to accept these accounts. I am also being told that the Auditor General has sent a pre-action protocol letter. What? Yeah. Yes, that the Auditor General must accept these accounts. It's a threatened issue. And I'm further being told, after the pre-action letter, the Auditor General did consider these supposedly corrected revenue numbers and so on, supposedly, and said she couldn't still find any evidence of this, what was it, about $3 billion in revenue. Oh my. Could not find that anywhere. Before I go further into this, Madam Speaker, I want to make it very clear that this action by the government this evening is totally ultra vires the Constitution, is totally in violation of our.
What say he?
I don't know what to say, Tommy.
I don't see-
Transparency and accountability. I I don't understand how you could miss revenues of 2.6 to $3 billion. So it was somewhere, and so who would have missed it, Tommy? What was it?
Fin- Well, who's responsible? Not the finance minister.
Well, I'm asking questions. I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
But
If
all I'm simply laying to you is who is responsible.
so, all right. Let's say it's the Ministry of Finance, right? So, how long ago these were submitted? They said, I think in January. I mean, how long were these submitted? And all of a sudden, an error came up of 2.6 to $3 billion.
Would I just disappear into thin air?
Well, it reappeared. It disappeared previously.
You know what? The worst part of this whole equation, or the frightening part of this equation, is that the average Joe Blow, or should I say, TT citizen, wouldn't even, or wouldn't, or probably don't even care about this.
You really think so, Tommy? Or is it that depends on what party you support, you wouldn't care?
That's exactly what I think is
Oh, okay. Okay.
useful. This thing.
So, I mean, you're beating around the bush, man. You're running around Bally's house. Be specific now, man. Why you dancing and hemming and hoeing, man?
Okay, let me first apologize.
Say that
Um,
again?
let me first apologize.
Okay. I, I getting concerned about you, man. You're doing pretty. Yeah.
Don't be concerned. Don't be concerned. Don't be concerned. I'm not asleep at the wheel. I'm not asleep at the wheel. If I'm asleep at the wheel, then I can crash and burn, and I'm not gonna go fall asleep at the wheel. Okay.
Okay. I wonder if you're going to the Waffle House.
Neither the Waffle House nor asleep at the wheel.
Okay, okay. Because I mean, this is very straightforward, you know. Well, in my estimation, how could you miss 2.6 to $3 billion in revenue, and you have to come back? And it's my understanding this was a special parliament that they had to have. This was especially just for that, right?
Yeah.
This is my understanding. So,
Well,
so
I would say like Lord Shorty, my friend, money ain't no problem.
Tommy, you talking to the fire services. Them fella them. I see you talking to them fella that is sleep out and thing. And as I said that, a partner of mine here in the United States, he said, but wait now, them thing that's happened to in America, I tell him I'll send me a few pictures to show now. You know what I mean? And I have a partner who is a fireman. I had to call him and ask him. He worked in Irvington. I had to call
My
him and ask him.
my last brother is a fireman.
In Trinidad.
He's in Belleville.
Oh, because my partner is in Irvington. In Irvington. And I really want to know if them to sleep, if their sleeping quarters is similar to that, where they have fire trucks and it look like ambulances in the same place that they sleep in. You know?
My brother he works 24 on, 48 off,
Right.
and
Yeah.
he tells me that when he's working, he can't even think about sleeping because he works at the desk. He does dispatch,
Right. Right.
so he has to answer the phone, and so he can't even think about sleeping. When he goes
Well,
to work,
go ahead.
he's at work until he leaves.
So wait now. He's not allowed to sleep.
Well, it's not allowed. He cannot even think about it.
Okay. But you firemen are allowed to sleep though, right?
I would imagine that some of them, if nothing's going on, they can take a snooze.
Right. But the thing is that if they can take a snooze, shouldn't those facilities be up to date for them to have a little, they could get real sleep? You know what I
But
mean?
it is supposed to be real sleep because it is supposed to always be ready to go.
Yeah, but I mean, once the bell ring or whatever it is, them fellas get up and they're ready to go because it's something that they are accustomed to now. But in my estimation, at least Tommy, the facility should be up to date.
I agree.
I mean, and that is just straightforward. And what's the budget? What was the budget for the Ministry of National Security again? $6.9 billion.
Hmm.
$6.9 billion, and you have fire servicemen sleeping like that. Maybe Tommy, that is why they couldn't find that 2.6 billion.
You never know.
I, I, I don't know. I'm just asking questions. What it is about us in Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm saying us, because folks, I'm also a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. Us, that the past 9 years, we just can't seem to get it right. We're getting it wrong more than we're getting it right.
But since independence, have we really gotten it right?
Well, let's be honest. Under Manning, we did get quite a few things right. Let's be honest. We get UTT out of Manning, University of Trinidad and Tobago. Would you say
Mhm.
we get that right?
That was a noble effort.
We get um the place down in Port of Spain. What is it called again? The hotel?
Um,
Look, I forget the name. What the hotel in Port of Spain? The Hyatt. We get the
Hyatt.
Hyatt out of Manning. Don't you think we get that right? So
Yes,
we get, who did we get Point Lisas out of? I don't remember.
Eric.
All right, maybe we get that out of Eric. You understand? So we could point to things, significant things that we get under Patrick Manning as an example, as a P&M. What could we point that we get to under the current RPNM? We just had Naikwan, 130 million US gone down the drain.
We get heritage.
What we get from them?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. We get Heritage was the substitute for Petrochin, right? Heritage
Uh-huh.
was the replacement, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Then we get Heritage. Yeah, you're right. We get Heritage. Yeah, boy. And sign up in Parliament now, and all of a sudden 2.6 billion in revenue. We know I'm paid, but we had to pay it back on the books. And the person couldn't find it, right? And what they do? They went and what does normally do? What the headman does normally do? You know? And
Mm,
she go end up finding it. She go find it. Yeah? Tommy boy, I doesn't know what to say sometime, boy. Rhoda Barrett is right. Caribbean Soul says the report wasn't handed over to the opposition. When the speaker asked him but to speak on it, he sat and kept his hand folded. Yeah. Ichabodi said, Pro, is this normal? What is that one, Tommy? I don't understand that.
Asking you, Professor, if that's normal.
Oh. If what is normal, the 2.6?
If
Huh?
if the whole shenanigans is normal.
But yeah, that's par for the course. That is normal. You being generous, I would say it's normal.
The
Yeah, it's normal. That is normal. You understand? You forget with the local government election what happened, right? We also go back to the parliament again. So this is not new. This is normal. This is normal. Yeah, yeah. Soul. That is a buckish peer them. How much money Malcolm Jones thief? A report came put. A report came out that cocoa price going up. Yeah, boy, I hear that, boy. You know, that a real good cocoa, you know. And maybe that's why the prime minister going to Ghana again. Going to see maybe if we could export some cocoa to Ghana, but Ghana's supposed to have cocoa too, you know. Yeah. Yeah, 2.6 billion. Somewhere we ain't get 2.6 billion. Let's take a voice note here. 2.6 billion. Hold
No. I woman again.
let's see this one.
Wall Street and Uncle Tony, we get plenty. We get pain, pressure, problem. We get Rohanson and Anna. We get Faris Alwari. We get Stuart Young. We get Dr. Keith Rowley. That is what we get in Trinidad and Tobago. We get 29% African community in poverty. We get over 7,000 African youths die under the gun violence. Uncle Tommy and Wall Street, that's what we get. Pain, pressure, and problem. But talk, Wall Street, talk. We get single mothers, they're putting out single mothers, they're targeting single mothers with little children who will pay AGC bill. They evicting them. But if they wanted to really move people, why did they go and move everybody from Duncan Street and all La Hoqueta? Why did they move all them people and them? Camille Robinson Reggie say they owing $1.6 billion. We're removing single mothers who you feel supporting the UNC and evicting them. Greatest DPNM. Educate the people, Uncle Tommy and Wall Street. Educate the people and them because Rowley not educated. He taken from we. Wicked government. KFC, Kingsley, listeners.
Thank you, COP. You know, Tommy, as COP said that, did you see the HD
Eviction exercise,
eviction exercise?
of course.
Recordings
Tommy, I
just got better.
I have a hard time understanding them kind of thing. You know why, Tommy? Because why do you wait until it gets to such a point that
HDC on debt collection drive.
hold on, let me get to that, folks. Let me get to that before we go for the break. I have to get to that. You know, so COP make us get to it on this debt collection drive by the Minister of Housing.
Mm.
Yeah, hold on. Let's get this.
HDC on debt collection drive, evicts View Fort tenants. A no trespassing sign on one of the apartments at View Fort, St. James. As the Housing Development Corporation, HDC, continued its debt collection drive to recover outstanding monies from tenants who have been owing for extended periods, There are claims that some of those being evicted are struggling to make ends meet. HDC announced on Tuesday that it will be conducting eviction exercises in housing developments across the country, including Chaconia Crescent in Diego Martin, Cypress Hills, Union Hall in San Fernando, Hilltop Villas in Malik, Barataria, and Real Spring in Valsaine. At View Fort in St. James, where some evictions took place, tenants complained that the HDC had targeted single-parent households. An occupant of a Building B unit told Guardian Media 3 single-parent households were evicted on Tuesday. Some people are single parents. COVID came, they didn't work for 2-3 years. Some people are struggling, and you might think they are living View Fort, they have a lot of money, but people don't have money. I guess HDC had no choice, but it's still hard and heartbreaking to see, said the woman who did not want to be identified. Another resident said, one of the women who got evicted, she is a single parent with 3 children and she really was struggling. She working in a cafeteria, paying her $500 a week. She wanted to pay her rent, but how could she with children to send to school, with other bills to pay? So it was really hard to see. I know some people really haven't been paying their rent, but Peter pay for Paul and Paul pay for all. A tenant who narrowly escaped eviction on Tuesday said she had to ask family and friends to help her accumulate $23,000 to pay off half of her arrears. She showed Guardian Media a letter from Asset Management Company Limited, a subsidiary of HDC, giving her 6 months to pay off the remaining arrears. She said after moving into her rental unit in View Fort in February 2019, she had no problems paying the $1,800 monthly rent for her 3-bedroom unit. However, a year later when the pandemic hit, she ran into difficulties paying her rent. I am self-employed. I am a nail tech. When the pandemic came, I couldn't work. I am a single parent. I have 2 children and I had also just gotten a vehicle as well, so I had to make a decision on which bills I was going to pay for during the pandemic, and truth be told, I still had to pay utilities, buy groceries, and pay my car loan. Now that the pandemic is done, I've been trying to pay lump sums, but it wasn't enough. It's not like you didn't want to pay. I've been paying my rent and the additional arrears, but they wanted a lump sum of money up front. It's not that you just don't want to pay. You weren't in a situation to pay it. When you could pay, you pay. But, when you can't pay, what will you do? No trespassing signs were placed on the doors of 3 units at View Fort, and the locks on the front doors had been replaced. Broken chairs, slippers, cups, and clothing were strewn in and around the apartments. Some View Fort tenants complained that there are several issues that HDC needs to address, including water shortages, mold problems, damaged tiles, and inadequate security. At Chaconia Crescent in Diego Martin, some residents who pay mortgages claimed the tenants who rent apartments are the ones causing issues for everyone. Some have been unable to pay $1,500 in rent for 3-bedroom units. Contacted for comment, Housing Minister Camille Robinson Regis said the HDC will continue evicting customers who do not pay their rent and mortgages. She said some tenants owe HDC more than $80,000. We are ensuring that the persons who owe the HDC do pay, and those who are not paying, unfortunately, we do have to evict them. Someone was evicted today, Thursday, I think it was, and she owes $82,000, and we can't allow that. It is because of tenants paying their mortgages or paying their rental that we are able to keep the housing program going consistently, Robinson Regis said. She said HDC's current exercise will also be able to identify persons who are illegally occupying housing units.
Tommy,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel that to me, that once the toothpaste is out of the tube,
Can't put it back in.
good. And you know what? Let's go for the break. And what happens is that the RPNM and their political gimmicks allow the toothpaste to get out of the tube, and now they're trying to put it back in by evicting people. What about the pandemic? What about those who had difficulties under the pandemic? Did they take that into consideration? Let me quickly read Richie's comment before we go for the break. Richie says, I disagree with you. The world, North Trinidad, runs this way. Trini can do everything under the sun. Pay your bills. Them same people don't pay their loans. If you see them on weekend, better drink and life. Richie, we had a pandemic in Trinidad. But anyway, let me go for the break. We'll be right back. Folks, it's Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, and you on WZY 95.9 FM. We're going to go for a quick break, and we'll be right back after this. Don't go nowhere. Stick and stay. We'll be right back after this. Just make sure I have this here. Here we go.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE LP 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
Is this your homie Rick Ross? This is your boy Gucci Man LaFleur.
You're in the mix with Sunday Talk, Let's Talk Politics with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street.
It's crazy, you heard me? You heard me?
Hey, I'm Ariana Grande. Hey, yo, this Cardi B. What's up? It's Megan Thee Stallion.
You're in the mix with Sunday Talk, Let's Talk Politics with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street.
Check this out, it's DJ Khaled. This is Post Malone. Yes, that little Chico Pitbull.
You're in the mix with Sunday Talk, Let's Talk Politics with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street.
When everything seemed to be gone, the worst thing to do is sit down and mourn. Don't let frustration get the better of you and make you do things you should never do. You got to keep the faith, you can't surrender. You never know, tomorrow may be brighter. Behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now. We gotta keep on trying. Oh Lord, we gotta keep on going. We gotta keep on moving on.
And of course, it's Sunday Talk, Let's Talk Politics with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, and you on WZY 95.9 FM. We come to you every Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. Don't forget, folks, you can reach us here at 973-868-1444. That's 973-868-1444.
Also 973-609-6509. 973-609-6509. Remember, it's WhatsApp, it's free. And you can text, send us a voice note, anything you want. Just get in touch. Let's stay in touch.
Thank you, Tommy. So let me go back to Rishi, 'cause I disagree with you. The world, not Trinidad, runs this way. Rishi, you know what it is, Rishi? This is what I would understand, right? How long does it take for a person to owe $80,000 in back rent? Think about it, right, Tommy? For you to owe $80,000 in back rent.
Let's say your rent is $1,500 a month.
So 12 fives are 60, 12 ones are 12. That's $18,000 a month, $18,000 a year, right? 1,500 by 12. That's
Right.
$18,000
A year.
right? In order for you to get 5 years will be 5 8 of 40. That'll be $90,000, right? So it had to
Yes.
be between about 4 years or so. Let's take this one. Bridget, welcome.
Yeah, welcome. How you going?
Everything is splendid first, man. How you doing?
Ah,
Everything is splendid first. How you
hello.
doing? Yeah, we hearing you. Hello.
Yeah. I want some of that money you get from the RA because you get 10 million and get a conquer it there. You know if you have it, if you give you any.
Nah, I ain't get none. I ain't get none.
You have a little thing self, a little dust.
Nah, I even get
You eat
1%.
that food.
No, I ain't get no EAF. No, we ain't get no EAF.
Man, because the man say he ain't no way is really. If he's a UNC or is a PNM, he studied it to give you something a little more. He say he gave you a little thing already. He say he ain't know if it's yellow or red. Right? He say like you make up your mind, you know. You, I don't know. If you get a little thing or I want a little dust like that, if you have.
Okay,
You hear me?
yeah, I'll get a
Where you
little
get
dust.
from the 10 million? From the 10 million.
I'll get you a little kakada. Don't worry yourself. You're safe.
A kakada. That is what I'm looking
Yeah,
for.
you got a
All
little
right.
kakada.
I decide listen to you.
Yeah, man. Bless. Yeah. You, you got a little something, Bishop. You must get a little something. Yeah.
Was I hear you was playing before the show started? I hear you was playing Sparrow Madame Dracula.
Madam Dracula. Oh, that
Madame
was playing.
Dracula
Yeah, that was playing from the
from
yeah, from the
from the station.
yeah, from the station itself. That was the music we have there, playing it from it for itself. Yeah. Oh, you like that one?
Yeah, but that's a serious classic.
Eh, I'll look for it again, boy. I'll look for that one. I'll go look for it again. But let me read some of these comments before we bring in our guest. Rishi says, if we think so, then no one should pay their rent. I'm not saying some people pulling things close, but some people only want you to see the bills, not the vice there. Rishi, don't paint a broad brush, now, man.
That's true.
Don't paint a broad brush, man. It's that people really seeing difficulties in truth, and the pandemic didn't make it even better. The pandemic makes it worse.
Especially with children.
Oh, especially with children. Yeah. RP and them love to blame the pandemic for their shortfalls and failure, but the normal citizen have to take the jam. Take jamming, man. Take it. Caribbean sources sometimes wonder if the pandemic only affected the PNM government. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Ask Rishi. Rishi said we Wall Street, come on, the pandemic gone years. No, don't use it again. I don't back government, but where we draw the line. So never pay bills and everything should be free. Come on in the USA. Well, Richie, let me say this, eh? If you're in the USA and you miss one payment, one payment, what has happened to me?
You're out of there.
Tell Richie.
But you had to remember
one payment.
You had to remember the USA had safety nets for people who were having difficult times.
Yeah.
Because it's a more compassionate society.
Yeah. We have safety nets. I just don't see how a person could owe $80,000. And in year 4, you come in and tell them, I want my $80,000 now. Nah. Something wrong. Rishi says sometimes you must do action or you never get results. They'll never pay. People only let you know one side of the coin. Richie, all I'm saying to you is that, so when you take a loan with a regular bank, will it reach 80K before they put you out? Wall Street, you have to make sense at some point. You have to pay your bills. You're not seeing the point. You're using RPM. Oh, God. Richie must be saying, I don't like the RPM, boy. Richie, I tell you, I don't like the policies of the RPM. I don't like the policies. Yeah? I don't like it. Hey, look, we have our guest.
Our guru.
Our guru, the man himself, the one and
What did
only.
I do to? What did I do to get that title of Guru Boy?
The Guru Boy, Dr. Shane Mohammed, welcome.
Thank you so
What
much.
you did is you overeducated yourself.
To the
That's
point
part
of being unemployable.
that is the part of problem in
That
Trinidad. You know.
happens, that happens too.
Yeah, that is the
You,
part in Trinidad.
you ever heard the term you're overqualified?
Yeah,
Too many times.
yeah, that is part of the problem. You see, when you educate yourself. And anyway, Dr. Mohammed, you hear we was talking about, I don't know you from a political scientist perspective, that in my estimation, from afar, once the toothpaste is out of the tube, you can't put it back in. And I am believing that the RPNM allowed these tenants to owe these rent for whatever political mileage they wanted to. My comments, not yours. Whatever political mileage they could have utilized at some point in time. And now they realize that they have left this thing going too far and they're trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube. What says you?
This is good afternoon, everybody. This is with regard to the eviction of the HTC
Yes.
persons.
Yes. Yes.
Where is the HTC apart? Remind me where the HTC.
It's in
Diego Martin.
different parts, but the story was about one specific place. La Vista, whatever it is. What it is called? I forget the name. Yeah, but it's in different parts of Trinidad. But the story was talking about this one particular place where that, and they evicted single mothers, single parents, right? And I'm just looking and saying, yes, the people owe rent. We had a pandemic, and the government also used the pandemic for certain situations. And I believe that, you know, something had to be worked out with these people earlier rather than later. And it's kind of difficult for them now. If they couldn't come up with the rent before, how they will come up with $80,000? So I'm just trying to find out. Caribbean Soul says good evening, Dr. Shane. Yeah.
Good afternoon as well.
I don't know. I don't know.
You see, there are different ways in which we could look at this thing. And $80,000 is a lot of money, right? $80,000 is a hell of a lot of money. For anybody at this stage in Trinidad and Tobago. And the problem I have with this administration, the problem I have with the system, is one that does not allow for effective monitoring and evaluation. It does not allow for effective communication. And then when the horse breaks out and starts running wild, and somebody gets a wind of something happening, there's a reaction. And the reaction normally is, well, we need to fix this. So the pipe has been leaking for 6 months. People have been telling you that the pipe has been leaking. But you only react and you only respond when you get up one morning and there's a huge sinkhole in the middle of the road and half of your road in your constituency came away. And then all hands are thrown up in the air. Oh my God, we need to fix this problem. And that has been the norm. Whether it is political pandering to the people and to the base, it does not make sense. Because if you've allowed it, and I go into the leaking of the pipe analogy. If you have allowed the pipe to continue leaking, and you've known, it's impossible to not know, right? Not knowing is not a a recourse or not a response or not a defense. If you don't know that something has, you cannot not know that these persons have been owing whatever amount of rent. The onus is on you to ask or to find out or to come up with some level of an arrangement that is suitable for both parties, reasonable on the pockets of those that are owing, so that you don't create an extra burden on persons. People don't pay rent just because they don't want to pay rent. There's a reason for them to not be paying rent. Could be that they don't have the money, they have to prioritize, and that's a big conversation and a big topic now. That there's the prioritization of needs in a once very rich, booming economy, and I am not. I don't believe that either parties, the UNC worse than the PNM at this stage, really and truly possess the answers that people are looking for to give them a level of hope, a level of relief, some level of encouragement to really have to really look to the future to say, well, things looking up. That's a problem across the board. So using this issue of the rent owed, this government also lacks compassion and empathy. And that is because a lot of persons within the administration have, for the most part, been very privileged in life. And those that understand or seem to understand don't have the power to take a stance because they've been strategically placed in a position that if they do take a stance, they may very well lose their political lifeline. So there's a gamble. How do I continue making a contribution to Trinidad and Tobago in a manner that is meaningful and where I have to, but I also at the same time have to tiptoe around a table that I could very well lose my space at any given time. That's my answer to that entire scenario.
I like that politically correct answer there, Dr. Mohammed.
And you think it's politically correct? No, the point. I mean, I don't find it was politically correct, to be honest with you, because the point is,
Because you don't normally dance, you just come straight to the point. You just
no, but
come straight to
there's
the
no
point.
monitoring. The long and short of the answer is the government lacks empathy. There's no system in place for monitoring and evaluation, and it is not a matter of that they didn't know. How could you not know that persons were owing you rent? If you don't know that, if you genuinely don't know that people are owing your organization or the government rent for a period of time, then something is clearly wrong with your system. Your system is broken, and you fail to fix the system. And now that because you have failed to fix the system, you want to put it on the blame the correct, right?
Correct.
So
And that is
so I gave
that
you
is
the long
what
answer, but I gave you the long answer because this is just a small drop in the bucket of a bigger problem. And the problem is that we are dealing. This damn country don't have any have no hope for people right now. That's the long and short of the answer. And that may come across as very unpatriotic, but it is the truth.
Yeah. Just as a reference, View Fort is in St. James. They're also looking at Shaconia Crescent in Diego Martin, Cypress Hills, Union Hall in San Fernando, Hilltop Villas in Malik Barataria, and Real Springs in Valsin. Those are the places where they are looking at eviction, and an occupant of building B at View Fort told Guardian Media 3 single-parent households were evicted on Tuesday. So I just find that. Thank you very much, Caribbean Soul. I just find that in this day and age, where they had 2.6 billion in revenue that they didn't know, and they had to go to Parliament.
I just read that article. Oh God. Now they're going to hang that Auditor General out to dry.
Oh my God, I feel sorry. It's a woman, right? I feel sorry.
Yep.
I feel sorry for the Auditor General. I feel sorry. I mean, they
No, but you
couldn't.
see, the thing about it is, I read the article, and they make out the lady, the lady to be one, inexperienced, two, unknowledgeable. Well, yeah, unknowledgeable of her constitutional responsibility and duties. Um, three, to be aggressive. And there's a nuance in the conversation as well that she might be anti-government. And there has to be a reason. People don't listen. People don't act in a manner that is as has been published without having a reason to do so, especially the Auditor General. When last we had the Auditor General in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, but that was a bacchanal. It's to quote what he named the Attorney General. It's quite bizarre. It is quite bizarre. But how they didn't know they had $2.6 billion in revenue? How?
Just as how they didn't know these people owe 80,000 back rent until 4 or 5 years later. They didn't know that they have about 1.5, 1 point something billion dollars outstanding in rent in all of these HDC houses all across the country. After 10, 15, or after 9 years later, or more than 9 years later, whatever time it is.
And the government has been in power for that period, 9 years.
Yeah, 9 years. You wait until year 9.
I could infer that people stopped paying rent the minute the government changed. Or about.
As a matter of fact, you're absolutely correct.
Somewhere around there, right?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct because one person owe $80,000. And if we say $15,000 a month rent, right, will bring them to $18,000 a year, which will take them between 4 to 5 years of not paying rent in order to owe $80,000. So the RPNM
rent in these places that you're talking about is not that very large sum. I mean, $80,000 divided by 9 years.
Well, I mean,
okay. Caribbean Soul, I'll explain a bit. Yeah, $80,000 over a period of 10 years. I mean, if you do the maths, that's 120 months. That's 120 months. So let's just go with 80,000 divided by 120 months. What it is 80,000 divided by 120 months is $600 average a month rent. So let me just say on the lowest part of the spectrum, somebody couldn't afford to pay $600 rent a month since 2020, since 2015.
Okay. Yeah,
and your monitoring and evaluation, your collections department, all of these people didn't pick up on the fact that in these areas that people were not paying rent or ask why. Let's just say after a 5-month or 3-month grace period, they didn't ask why. How come?
I think they picked up on it and they just turned their back.
Yeah, but you picked up on it and turning your back. It still doesn't make sense. What you turning your back for?
because it have election, it have the election 2015, it had the election 2020, it had the local government election. You don't want to bring that thing up so much at that point in time. But now you see that, you know what, boy, we can't continue. As I explained, I say we can't continue this way. At some point in time, right? You have to try to put the toothpaste back in the tube.
You have to cut the back of the toothpaste, cut the back of the toothpaste tube, and put the toothpaste back inside. So you're reversing, you're going backwards, you're regressing, right? But hold on, let me, my head hit me here, Nina, you really typed that, girl?
Yeah, she typed it.
Cazelle as a prime minister.
Yeah, Nina, I shocked at you, Judy. Judy, come on, Judy. Don't fall for that. I know it's a female kind of thing now.
No, it's not even that. Oh God, that is. We might as well all move to Uganda and try to help them boost their economy and their governance structure, or Bangladesh, because Kazelle is not the answer for Trinidad and Tobago.
I have to be honest with you. I agree with you 100%. As a matter of fact, 200%.
I understand that people are desperate for change, but when you are desperate for change, you cannot be desperate to the point of being foolish, because knowing the devil that you, how the saying goes, is to take the devil you know than the devil you don't.
You know what that's like, and we're gonna get to that. That is either crooks or mooks. You will get to
not even crook. That is not even crooks or mooks. That is not even crooks or mooks. That is serious mental health issues. We have to be mentally. We have to be mentally insane. We have lost all perspective of rationality and objectivity to do something that desperate. But let me just explain the Caribbean Soul. Caribbean Soul, what has happened is every year, when the government, at the end of the financial year, the government has to get reports from all ministries, right? All agencies of the state, all state companies, or everything. It's an all of government approach where they start looking from before the end of the financial year, which is the 30th of September. They start bringing in the sheaves, as they say it in the chorus, right? They start bringing in the information. This is how much money we spent. This is how much money this is what we built. This is what the projects cost. So they start building their expenditures and their revenues, their outputs, their inputs, their productivity levels. It's a full composition of all of our financial statements, all of our financial statements, yeah. And by the time the system is one that is remember, we're using a 1976 system, and therefore we are using a very old constitution and very old practices. And what has happened is when the Minister of Finance presented the budget, he has to present the budget to speak about how much revenue did we and how much money did we gain at the end of the financial year, closing September 30th, 2023. And in addition to all of that happening, the Auditor General's office goes to all of the ministries and they start auditing their finances and ensuring that their checks and balances, that every cent literally every cent is accounted for by the vote, by the very, going down to all of the votes that fall within the ministry or the state institution. What they discovered before the Auditor General laid her report was that the financial people within the ministry realized that they were short. In fact, the information was not correct that the Minister of Finance presented, that there was a $2.6 billion shortfall of our revenues that ended in 2023. And therefore, what the minister and the finance people did was they wrote the Auditor General indicating that, listen, our people have discovered that there is an omission of $2.6 billion in revenue that was not accounted for in the budgetary statement of the minister, and we would like to have that included in the Auditor General's report to reflect the accuracy of the amount of money that we actually made. That turned out to be a standoff between the Ministry of Finance, the Attorney General, and the Auditor General, because the Auditor General refused to accept the findings. She refused to accept that there was an omission of $2.6 billion, and it was only after she was served with a pre-action protocol letter on the 15th of April did she give them until the 16th of April at 12 noon to submit the documents that shows that there was a revenue increase of $2.6 billion. However, she did not correct it in the report for 23. She submitted the report to Parliament without the inclusion of the 2.6 billion. It wasn't even included as an addendum. It wasn't included as an appendix. Nothing. She just didn't include it at all, and she put forward the report, and that has caused a standoff. Now that I'm saying it out loud, and I'm wondering why, the only thing that I could come up with is that there has to be, the Auditor General's Department has to do its own appraisal and its own research to be able to publish something. They can't simply take it from the Minister of Finance or the officers of the Ministry of Finance that we left out $2.6 billion. What has to happen now is that the Auditor General's Department has to now go in to the Ministry of Finance and find the source of this $2.6 billion in order to fulfill the requirements of transparency and accountability under the Constitution and the relevant acts of Parliament, the relevant acts that govern their jurisdiction. So I am assuming that that's where the caveat is, that, the Auditor General is someone like the Chief Medical Officer, like the Registrar General, that they are authorities in our Constitution and our legislative framework and our institutional framework. And therefore, while it may be correct that we did omit in error $2.6 billion in revenues, the Auditor General just can't simply say, oh, really? Okay, cool. Let me just put it into my folder. No, it can't work like that. That there's specific, and I'm sure she knows that there are specific rules and regulations that she must follow as the office holder in order to ensure that there's transparency and accountability by the office in reporting on the financial revenues and expenditures of the country. So it could very well be that the reason it was omitted and has not been, and it's nothing prevents the Auditor General from submitting a supplementary report. The fact remains though that the Auditor General's Department themselves has to see and investigate or inquire and do their own findings and verify. Yes, that's the word, verify that. Okay, yes, you did leave out $2.6 billion. That's not a lot of money, and you can't be dictated to by a political directorate. The Auditor General cannot be dictated by a political directorate. She can't even be dictated, and I'm saying she because it's a woman, but the office and the office holder cannot even be dictated to by an equivalent public officer, because they have their work to do and their processes and procedures, which are simply outlined in how and money is accounted for. So that's where we are with regard to that.
But
so the independent
isn't it factual that Mr. Ramdas is being bullied?
Well, it appears that Mr. Ramdas is being bullied and under the cloak of parliamentary privilege. Ms. Ramdas, however, she would be able to know what she can and cannot do. And when the time is right, if she sees the needs to speak, she will. She could very well say nothing and just continue doing her job and do it the right way and follow the rules and regulations that govern her authority. And then submit a supplementary report and say, well, yes, $2.6 billion was recovered and we found it from X, Y, and Z. And this is how it was omitted by error. Because you can't just simply say, hey, look, we forgot 2.6 billion here, let me report here. You know, that and Dave, I'm sorry, Dave very well know.
What would happen if that $2.6 million doesn't appear in her findings?
She's going to have to write a report that it was not in her findings and in the reviews and in the investigation of the Auditor General's department. They did not find the $2.6 billion, and therefore the question would be, well, how come you all are saying that there's 2.6? But I highly doubt that there's an error of $2.6 billion that does not exist. I highly doubt that there's an error. It could very well be a genuine error. I'm not saying that it's not a genuine error. What I'm saying is let the process take its course and let the lady do she work.
Here's my difficulties, right? Here's my difficulties. If there is a 2.6 billion that wasn't there, will the Auditor General now say, let me see the bank statements where this money ended up?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
To me,
no. She has to go in. Her auditors and her officers will have to sit with the Ministry of Finance and go through the books of the Ministry of Finance themselves, ask the relevant questions to the relevant persons to ensure that it is accurately accounted for before it is published. There's a process. You see.
But Dr. Mohammed, I don't just want the books, you know. I don't, because listen to this, when I work at the New York Stock Exchange, I worked in member firm regulation. And I'm going to examine Goldman Sachs, for example. If Goldman Sachs tell me, yeah, $3 trillion over here, I would like to see your bank statements for the last 6 months, and I'm going to reconcile what you're telling me to your bank statement or whatever else you have, right? So I could see that you have 2.6 billion. But even more that I'm concerned about, I am concerned about if when the Ministry of Finance gives the information to the Auditor General, if they don't do a check to make sure that what the Ministry of Finance says is actually accurate.
No, let me tell you how it works. There's no giving of information. There's no giving of information. Information is not given. The Auditor General has the authority vested by the Constitution and by the Public Service Regulations. The Auditor General's department goes into ministries.
Okay.
Nobody comes to them and say, here. Nobody says this. Here, look the book. Nobody says, this is our books. No, that doesn't happen.
Okay.
We come to you. You have to show us. We must sit in your offices and you must be able to show us. That's how the process goes. There's a process. And it's not a short process. It's a very tedious process. It's one that actually works well, right? And therefore, Imbert and Amor should understand, Imbert of all people, should know that you can't just simply say, hey, look, we forgot. Through my technocrats, they've brought to my attention, we are so sorry and embarrassed. Well, you should be, that we omitted that, or we forgot, or whatever the case may have been. $2.6 billion in revenue was left out of your revenue report. And then you call the right, the registrar, the auditor general, and say, hey, look, we were through this means and that means. No. She now has to examine what the documents are and then go into the organization, whichever the relevant organization is, go into it and start asking questions. And they must show her the proof. There's a process. Let us allow the lady to follow the process. And then there could always be a supplementary report. There's nothing that prevents them from having a supplementary report for the financial year ending 2023.
Okay, let me take a voice note here. Hold on a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. Oh, here we go.
Wall Street, the people them that targeting is people who they believe supporting the UNC. Them is the people them that targeting and victimizing and moving them out. If you use a UNC, you can't live in this PNM building because everybody around is PNM. And if you're a PNM, you don't bound to pay your bill. Watch and you go see what's going on. It's all them UNC people and them the targeting. Camille Robinson Reggie's constituency alone, them buildings and them in Camille Robinson Reggie's, them alone owing the highest bill ever in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, who owing AGC, is in Camille Robinson Reggie's office area.
Okay, so we will get back to that. So
okay, so let me read something for you that I just got, and it comes from the office of the leader of the opposition. So this is the facts, as she says. Let me just read that. Right. So, reading part. The vicious attacks attempted to purposely smear the reputation of Ms. Ramdas after she refused to succumb to coercion and bullying from the government to modify the Auditor General's report because, 1. No supporting documents were produced by the Ministry of Finance to verify its claims of a revenue misstated in the sum of $2,598,150,761.72. The government cannot account for an expenditure of $1 billion since payments could not be verified as there were no supporting documents. Mrs. Pasal-Bisasa is writing again. I have been informed that the facts are 1. The Auditor General received the public accounts from the Ministry of Finance on January 31st, 2024. 2. The public accounts were then audited in accordance with Section 25(1) of the Act for the transmission of the report of the Auditor General by the statutory deadline of April 30th, 2024 to the Speaker of the House, the President of the Senate, and the Minister of Finance. On March 25th, 2024, 2 months after the submission deadline, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance verbally informed the Auditor General of a supposed error regarding the revenue statement. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance sent a memorandum dated March 20th, 2024, 2 months after the deadline, to the Auditor General requesting the allowance of an amendment to the revenue statement, which was previously submitted on January 31st, 2024. The stated variance amounted to approximately $3.379 billion. However, the Ministry of Finance indicated it could only reconcile approximately $2.598 billion and could not explain the difference of approximately $781 million. On April 16, 2024, the Ministry of Finance recalled the public accounts initially submitted in January and sent an amended account for audit. The amended public accounts in April showed a statement of revenue figure of $64,488,503,781.94 as compared to the figure in January of $61,890,373,020.22, which was a difference of 2.598, etc. The Auditor General then sent audit staff, as I told you all, to the Ministry of Finance to gather the documents and verify any evidence of this adjustment to revenue and to determine if it was properly recorded in the accounting books and records. However, no supporting documents were produced by the Ministry of Finance to verify or substantiate their claims of $2.5 billion in misstated revenue. The accounting books and records of the Ministry of Finance showed no adjustments to reflect any increases in revenue. The Auditor General could also not verify $1 billion in expenditure because no payment documentation was available. That's the statement. It goes on and on, right? But I just got this, so I did not see this before. So what I'm saying is, it supports what I am saying.
Dr. Shane, read the rest, because I have it too. I want you to read the rest.
All right, let me read. In the face of vicious attacks and coercive bullying by the government, Ms. Jaiwanti Ramdas refused to manipulate the 2023 Auditor General's report to reflect favorably on the government after the deadline date had passed, because the Ministry of Finance could not provide any documentation or evidence to verify its claims. The motion brought to Parliament and passed by a simple majority on Friday violated the Constitution. The government delayed laying the constitutionally due Auditor General's Report 2023 in Parliament, which was nothing short of an attempt to hide its financial negligence and incompetence from citizens.
And you see?
Now, you see, let me tell you something. Huh? I don't speak, and I always say this publicly, I don't speak about things that I don't know about. And before I even read this, even came to my phone, I was explaining to you all that the Auditor General goes to the institution. They don't come to them. You can't write me and tell me as the Auditor General, hey, look, I just find $2.5 billion and we forget to put it in. No. And then I say, okay, cool, send it to me and I will. No, you can't do that, right? There is a very carefully laid out processes and procedures in the Constitution that allows the office holder, in this instance, the lady, to do her job. The problem here is that this is why I am advocating for constitutional change in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And I want listeners across the board to understand that unless we don't do things differently, we are going to have issues arising like this. What Mrs. Prasad-Bissessar is saying as the opposition leader is that the opposition or the Auditor General can also file chances are it could be the opposition, a constitutional motion, right, seeking judicial review, whatever the case may be, from the Ministry of Finance because of this, the facts as she may have it, right? Because if you are violating the Constitution by a simple majority, this is where we need to amend the Constitution to allow for special majorities to be used and utilized in order to protect, one, the Constitution, two, the institutions, three, the office holders, four, the processes and procedures that govern us. No UNC, no PNM administration wants constitutional reform in a manner that is modern, in a manner that seeks transparency and accountability, in a manner that calls into public account the offices that people hold, that allows a new mechanism of doing business in Trinidad and Tobago, Now, don't get me wrong, the whole constitution ain't going to get thrown up and thrown out the window. You have to calculate, you have to look through the different clauses of the constitution, the different aspects of sections of the constitution, in order to decipher what you are keeping, what you are amending, what you are changing, and what you are what you are omitting completely. We need in this country a new, and I'm going to use a phrase that I like because it was well crafted by your what the lady, what is the lady name that was challenging Trump, y'all?
Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley.
Nikki, right? There's a line that Nikki Haley used, and I am going to say it. Trinidad and Tobago has reached the point in our lifetime, our statehoodness, of the period of time of us being a nation. We've reached the juncture where we need a new generational group of leaders to take us forward. Look around. Look around. It is not old men leading Guyana. It is not an old man leading Grenada. It is not an old 70-something-year-old woman leading Barbados. She's not 60 yet. Jamaica. We need to understand that if we really and truly, as a country and as a people, desire change, where there's equity, equality, opportunity, transparency, accountability across the board for everybody, we need to start thinking beyond PNM and UNC, who is Indian and who is African, who is white and who is brown, who is black and who is yellow, who hair straight and who hair curly, who come from Westmoreland and who come from Diego Martin and who come from Laventille and who come from Separate. We have to start thinking about what, and you see this line about you need to start thinking about your children and your no people. Your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren, right? They are grown men and women now that are going to be able to vote in 2025. They now need to start thinking about what their future, because not everybody is going to be able to go to the United States and Canada and England and the UK and Europe and to go to fancy universities. Not everybody is going to get scholarships. Not everybody is going to have money to go and from mommy and daddy pocket to go away to study. As Dennis Plumas is rightfully said, right here is where people are going to have, majority of people are going to have to stay. And right here is where people are going to have to make their living. And right here is where people are going to have to find their futures. And we can't do it the way we're doing it now. I can't sit down and read a statement where $2.6 billion missing or purported to be missing, right? And there's no, and you just want to hand me a piece of paper and say, hey, put this in the document. That is an abuse of power. Absolutely. And in any modern democracy, that man would have been fired. The Minister of Finance was going to be fired because you're using parliamentary privilege, an abuse of power, to bully an office holder who is entrenched in the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So we can't continue. And Caribbean Soul, let me tell you something. I agree with you. None of them, I am sorry to say, none of the people you just named are good enough either. Because they created a whole bacchanal about something that does not arise. And I am not a fan of Mrs. Prasad Bissessa. I call a spade a spade. That is why I can read her statement and say, look at what she's saying here, right? Because she's constitutionally responsible to put it out there and non-politicize the facts. The problem here is this. From a political standpoint, because there's a difference. I want you to understand something. Me and Wall Street reading a statement from the leader of the opposition is not politics. It speaks to the institutions of the state. and the responsibility under the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago of the opposition leader, whoever that person may be, to come forward if they have facts that they could substantiate in the interest of people of Trinidad and Tobago. What you are talking about, which is also very vital, is another part of it, which is the political aspect. And quite frankly, Mrs. Prasad Bissasa's term in office as political leader of the United National Congress does not arise at this point in time. And it is only Mrs. Prasad Bissassa who can determine whether she wants to stay or she wants to go. If she decides she wants to stay, which I gather she will, and her constitution allows her that, we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, now have a different decision to make. Whether we want Kamla, we want Rowley, or we want somebody else. And if we want somebody else, we need to be serious, we need to be mature, we need to be intelligent, and we need to understand that if we stick to the way the current wheels are rolling, then we are going to be rolling backwards because the rest of the region is going forward. I just looked. Every time I look, I see a new report. Barbados is making headlines. A new airline going to Barbados come summer. And who coming to Trinidad? We can't get to Canada unless we take in Caribbean Airlines.
And BP selling out Trinidad assets to Perenco. BP selling out to Perenco.
I mean, can you imagine that is what is going on in our country? And if what you read about the people getting evicted because they support a particular political party, then my notion that this government has polarized this country beyond any other government has ever done before. So that unless you align yourself with the PNM and their affiliates, you are persona non grata, and your opportunity, regardless of what your CV says, does not matter. Do we want a country like that beyond 2025? No. No, we don't. And we really and truly need to start paying attention and start making some serious good choices. Kapisa, your money could be on the PNF for the next 5 years. That's because you're not understanding what I'm saying.
Dr. Shane, don't pay attention to that.
No, you see, I don't, again, you know.
No, here's why. Here's why. No, let me tell you why. We know Kapisa is Capitan. We know him very well. Right? But he's a UNC. But he just put up all these PNM things. That's just right?
Well,
he just
put up them PNM things. It might work in his favor, right? Because if his money is on the PNM for the next 5 years, and he's a UNC member or a UNC activist, it's an admission that he has no confidence in the leadership of Kamla Prasad Bissassa. Simple.
Nah, he does just be putting up them things to pull people leg, but you don't pull we legs inside there because we understand him. We understand him. That our partner, real good partner. He's a real friend of us here at 95.9 FM. Just as how you are, he's a real friend. But
Caribbean Soul, you asked a question I've been asked before, and I will answer you again. I was asked the same question on WESN about a week or two ago, right? That's the problem. We are so fixated on UNC versus PNM. We have to understand that if we are brilliant, if we are modern thinkers, if we are educated and informed, as we say we are, and that we are capable of being the best that we are in our various professions, then it cannot be that we are simply going to focus on who could be the next leader of the UNC. I will answer you now. The best leader of the UNC could very well be outside of the UNC. But there's no avenue to get inside of the UNC because, as I said to you, Mrs. Prasad Bissasa's term in office is not up for grabs at this point in time. And the persons who have, and I wouldn't say they don't have genuine, they just have very poor strategy, and they've proven they are nothing but politically inept. If you have interest in serving the country and moving the UNC into government, you don't do it by chastising someone that you have no choice but to work with all the way to the 2025 general election and saying she ain't good and time to go and this and that. No. What you should be having a conversation about is how we, Anita Haynes, Parry, Rambali, Charles, whoever else, how could you all contribute to the national executive and assist Mrs. Prasad Bisasa in attaining the position of Prime Minister? That should be a conversation.
So, Dr. Solomon, we want you to hold that thought right here. We got to go for a quick break. Hold that thought right here. We're going to go for a quick break. Folks, it's Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, and you, as well as Dr. Shane Mohammed. Let's go for a quick station identification. We'll be right back after this. Stick and stay. Don't go nowhere. Remember, share the live on WZYE 95.9 FM on Facebook, WZYE TV on YouTube, and WZYE 95 on Twitter, now known as X. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE LP 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
What's up, y'all? This is Tupac, Machiavelli the Don.
Yo, what's cracking like? This is Big Snoop Deal Double G.
You're in the mix with the one and only Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street.
Yeah, check it out, man. It's your boy Akon. Hey, what it is, man? It's your boy T-Pain.
You can pop, lock, and drop it. Just don't stop it. Bringing you the jams from the 2000s and more.
Yeah, this is your boy Flo Rida. Believe that.
This is Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street. You are listening to Sunday Talk, Let's Talk Politics with Uncle Tommy and Professor Wall Street on WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening.
We are back with you. It's Sunday Talk, Let's Talk Politics with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, Dr. Shane Mohammed, and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. That's Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. You can reach us here at 973-868-1444. That's 973-868-1444.
Or 973-609-6509. That's 973-609-6509. Remember, it's WhatsApp, so it's free.
Dr. Mohammed, you want to continue the thought that we left off?
Yeah, so these persons who claim to have or have said that they have the best interest of the party at heart, then the conversation should have been how we could work together towards Mrs. Prasad Bisasa and the UNC moving into government. Not a whole bacchanal about an issue that does not arise, which is the leadership term of the league. I mean, the truth is, according to the UNC Constitution, the only person that can make that decision is her. And if she believes that she has what it takes to literally move the country, win the government, then who are we to fight her? If we don't believe in her as the voting population, then we have the right to vote for someone else. A day in politics is like a lifetime, as per Basil Pandey, and therefore we have a long time before the general election is due. We are not even a year outside yet. We're not within that 12. We're not even 12 months before an election. And sometimes waiting is better than running out too early. Because there are those who have already put themselves forward to say, I running in, and they've already burnt out, but they didn't realize it yet.
So Dr. Shane, Ikabodi, welcome. He says, Dr. Shane, are these discrepancies normal? He's talking about the discrepancy with respect.
No. Those discrepancies are not normal. Not for $2.6 billion. There can be discrepancies, obviously. There will be discrepancies. The Auditor General's Department, however, does their work very well, very in-depth work. They take their job very seriously. In fact, if they do something wrong, it can throw off an entire economy. So they do their best to ensure that they get everything right and all things covered. And if there are discrepancies, they will state that there are discrepancies in their report, and there will be questions to be asked, but not for $2.6 billion.
So Dr. Mohammed, what is your opinion on the dissidents of the UNC as far as them going back up for their constituency, being that they have come out against the political leader of Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar?
This is putting it very nicely. It is hypocritical. You can't run out and say X, Y, and Z about the party, about the leadership. All that is wrong, all that needs to be fixed, and then go before, expect to be sitting, put your papers in, and go and get screened for a seat before the very person who you clearly don't support as political leader of the party. So it's what are you, choose a side. You're either in or you're out. You can't be half pregnant, as they say.
You can't be in the Waffle House. You cannot be in the Waffle
House. No rush, man. Make a decision.
Make
a decision.
You gotta pick a side.
You're either in or you're either out. One or the other. If it is, and they read this very wrongly. They read this really wrongly. You can't say that the party needs to change. I am not saying the party does not need to change, Don't get me wrong. I am not saying the party doesn't need a good political, spiritual cleansing. But you're not saying how you could contribute to Kamala Persad-Bissessar becoming Prime Minister, because her leadership does not expire until 2025. JB Harper, JB is normally my partner, but JB reaches the same desperation as Judy.
You're saying Judy and JB desperate with Cazell? Is that what you're saying? Oh, God. All right, Dr. Mohammed. Please talk bad.
We might as well, if that is the case, and are they looking for Cazell Jackson as Prime Minister, we might as well just go and ask Abu Bakr to come out, to resurrect and come and lead me.
And while we are doing, we might as well just bring back Watson Duke. While we at it, resurrect Watson Duke.
The man who wants an olive branch so badly. I mean, Come on, man. Come on. We need to be objective. We need to be rational. We need to think about this thing. This is not a
But I want to jump in, and I want people to raise the bar. Raise the bar. Don't lower the bar. You understand? And let me say this, eh? Let me say this. Hello, caller. You're on Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics.
Good evening, good evening.
How you doing, Renison?
Yeah, Wall Street, what going on?
Yeah, you're live on here.
Yeah, man. You know, it's a very good discussion we're having, eh?
Yeah.
But I'm seeing people dancing around the fact, and since I've seen you have a well-esteemed political analyst on the interview here,
Yeah.
I believe there's a question I should pose. We know we can't run from the elephant in the room. There are internal turbulence that taking place in the UNC. You understand? Which might be a little critical for them. What do you have to say about it? The election. That is my question this evening.
Say that again. Say it again. Say it again.
Ask again.
Ask again. Ask it again.
In concordance to the internal turbulence that taking place within the UNC, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to know if that might be an issue when election coming, or it might cause them an election.
All right. Thanks a lot. Yeah, man.
And that's a legitimate question, and I understand the concern because it's also. And let me tell you this: the reason why, the UNC seems to not understand this, is that the reason why all eyes are on the UNC, and whether people are UNC supporters or whether people have been UNC supporters traditionally, whether people are UNC members, right? The reason why the cross-section of the country will pay attention to the issues that are going on in the UNC is for the very reason that the caller has asked the question. The UNC right now, and I say right now because I'm premising this on we are a long way from politics, from the election. Anything can happen between now and then. The UNC is seen as the only alternative, the only viable alternative right now to the PNL. Obviously, the stability of the party, the caliber of the candidates, the ability of the party to run and govern its political affairs internally in a manner that is objective, rational, reasonable, mature, modern, you name it, is very critical. The way people behave with integrity, how they respond to the public, how they speak, their level of intelligence, their ability to connect, relate, all of these things are important because then that is going to inform whether the UNC is worthy of crossing the threshold of 21 seats to make it into government. And when you have Bacchanal and Commerce and Lacare and all kind of thing going on in the institution or the party that you see as the alternative and as the government in waiting, then one asks yourself, and everybody will ask themselves rationally, how could these group of people really and truly, if they cannot govern their own house, how can they then govern the people's business? And therefore, it is going to affect, obviously, how people vote, especially if they can't get their act in order. And there isn't a level of trust. There has to be a certain level of trust. Trust is a very nuanced word in politics, but there has to be a level of trust that people feel that they will, if they cast their vote for the UNC, there's going to be a stable government coming into office. Now, Caribbean Soul asked, can the Prime Minister drop a date while the internal election is going? The Prime Minister can drop a date anytime. He is under no obligations. That is political. That is the UNC's business. He could drop an election date while while the UNC's internal election campaign is going on, and it is their resilience to be able to switch gears at a minute's notice is going to be important. I honestly don't believe that they have that capability and that ability right now. The best of the UNC has left the UNC. The best of the UNC in terms of personalities, intellectual capacity, integrity, you know, brilliant minds, people who resonate with the population, and also people who have experience have gone outside of the party. And the UNC is not open to persons. Mrs. Prasad Bissessa is not open to persons who don't align their thoughts with hers. So difference of an opinion is seen as an attack, and that is not necessarily how intellectual conversations take place. We can oppose each other and disagree with each other. I mean, Wall Street and I when we had this. Remember when we were talking about the local elections, and I had it right, you had it wrong, and we were fact checking each other. And the disagreements because of differences of opinion should not be the reason why we cannot work together. And that is so archaic and nonsensical. It's not funny.
But all right. So all of that is to say that these 4 or 5 dissident MPs are outside of the UNC, right?
I don't understand. I do not believe that Mrs. Prasad Bissessa is as magnanimous as Mr. Manning when he gave Dr. Rowley his seat in 2010 after their bacchanal and their fallout. I don't believe Mrs. Prasad Bissessa is like that, and I am quite sure that she's already started making a list of replacements.
Okay, so yeah, so them fellas could cancel Christmas then. Well, them not say them fellas,
They could
other than
cancel
Rodney
Christmas,
Charles,
Thanksgiving.
other than Rodney Charles, because Rodney Charles.
No, but you see, I want to bring it to you see, you have to, you need to know how you play your politics when you want to play politics. And in the run up to Easter, I saw Anita Haynes in the company of Michaela Pandey. And whatever game that is that Anita is playing there, I hope she knows that Mrs. Prasad Bissessa don't take well to those sort of antics. So, and I'll tell you this, don't get me wrong, Mrs. Prasad Bissessa and Dr. Rowley are very similar in political behavior. Very, very similar. They are very, very, very similar in political behavior. They're not very different at all. They may have different approaches, but they think very much alike in terms of the politics and how they view persons. Dr. Rowley may have a one-up on Mrs. Prasad Bissessa to some extent because he wants to preserve his legacy. But in terms of political behavior, Dr. Rowley is Shane could get a call up by Tanti. Now, that ship sail sink. Right now, corals are growing on it. It's a whole ecosystem, Kapita. In the marine.
You never know.
Somewhere in the deep.
You never know. Things could change, man. You never know. But Dr. Mohammed, I want to shift gears a little bit. And you might be surprised that I'm going to say this. Ronald Harford, a businessman, came out with an article talking about crooks and mooks. And he said, right, people should vote for the crook rather than to vote for the mook. So what I did, before I gave my opinion, right, my son, he has doctor in front of his name like you do, right? So I said to him, Malcolm, what do you think about this statement? This guy said he'd rather vote for a crook than a mook. My son said he understands metaphorically what the guy was saying. And he wasn't saying that if a person is a crook, you should vote for them. And if a person is a mook, you should vote for them. What he was saying is that it's better to vote for the person who will stab you in front of your face than a mook who will stab you behind your back. And I totally agree with Ronald Hartford. I will rather
Yeah,
vote
sure.
metaphorically. I will vote for the crook rather than to vote for the mook. And I am saying, Ronald Hartford didn't say this. He was talking about the RPNM as mook. Let me go a little further. Senior counsel Daly had an article in 2019 in the Express with the same thing. He just added on jokes. And he made the people, yeah, he talked about crooks, mooks, and jokes. And he made the people the jokes for continuously voting for the crooks and the mooks. And in that article, his opinion, it appears that he also make the RPNM as mooks. So I am going on record and saying I will vote metaphorically, vote for the crook rather than to vote for the mook. What do you say? First of all, let me ask Tommy first, if you don't mind. Tommy, what says you?
Well, I would prefer to go with the crook than the mook, because the mook could wind you up in hot waters and some very uncomfortable positions. At least the
Okay,
crooks,
all right.
you know, I think
All right.
I prefer the crook.
Dr. Mohammed. We want your political scientist opinion. you know?
You see, there's no always, if you're looking at R versus K, um, K is not a crook. K is not a crook. K is actually a mook. R is also a mook.
So we have no
They
choice.
are both mook.
But you're
They
hedging.
are both mook.
You're hedging.
No. Yeah,
You're
no, they
hedging.
are both mooks.
You're hedging.
They are both mooks.
You're going on the New
Within
York
their
Stock Exchange
party,
now, and you're hedging.
within their parties, they are crooks and mooks. But in terms of the leadership of the two parties, they are both mooks.
No, but that wasn't the question, though. That wasn't the question, though. The man
However,
was very
if I had to
straightforward.
vote, if I had to
Yeah.
vote for either the crook or the mook, I will vote for the crook.
Okay, that is it. You know how to, you didn't want
And
you to hedge, you know what I
voting
mean?
for the crook, voting for the crook is because what you see is what you get.
Yeah. And when my son explained this to me, he said, Dad, I don't really know what a mook is, you know, because you know, that's a kind of Trinidad term, right? Mook, right? So
Yes,
he didn't. Yeah. But he kind of understand. He understood it, and he said metaphorically, he understood what the guy was saying. He wasn't saying that you're going and vote for a person who is crooked and will do this, will do the other. That's not what he meant. That's not what he meant. He meant that you know one and the other you really don't know, and you don't know what you're going to get from the other, and you don't know what he will give.
So
at
let me
least,
give it. Let's put it in a biblical form. Judas is a mook.
okay.
Judas is a mook. Right? Judas is a mook. But Simon Peter was a crook. Because Simon Peter was the one that hit the man and cut off his ears. Was he not? So you knew, and that's when he said, some somebody among me will betray me. Everybody started asking if it's me, if it's me. He said, me, he didn't ever answer if it's me, who it is. But he said, one amongst me will betray me. Amok is a Judas. They will laugh, they will talk, you will meet many of them in your lifetime. I hope to meet very few going forward in life. I think I've had a full quota of the amount in mind. But what you see is what you get from a crook. I read another article, and another article says that all politicians are hypocrites. In fact, the article went on to say that we are all hypocrites because we all have, by nature, some level of, or some semblance of prejudice within our personality, within our thinking. The task for voters is to look for the lesser of the hypocrites to vote for, because they've put hypocrisy on a spectrum. And that resonated with me. Let me give you a typical example. The average Trinidadian will tell you that they can't stand a Venezuelan. The sight of a Venezuelan irritates them, that they walk in somewhere, they walk in, wherever they souvenir, whatever. But when the night come, and the motion in the ocean and the boat go in, they wouldn't say no to Venezuela. That's the hypocrisy that we live in. You can't bear to see them living in your society, but you can use them for other purposes and throw them aside. That is the hypocrisy that exists.
You know, it's interesting that you say that, right? I listen to a RPNM activist, and they call Philip Alexander. And what you, Tommy, and I just said, Philip Alexander said, I will vote for the crook. And the RPNM activists, because you know what they're saying, eh? What everybody know, the crook is supposed to be the UNC, and the mook is supposed to be the RPNM, right? I mean, the fella didn't say that, but that's what I mean. You can figure it out. But the person now who's a RPNM was upset with Philip Alexander because he said he gonna vote for the crook. But Philip Alexander understood exactly what the man was saying, right? And the person was upset because he didn't say the RPNM, because the RPNM is the muck. You know, but the man, Ronald Harford, got it 100% correct. And Daly had backed him up 5 years ago with the article in 2019. You understand? And those guys are all very learned, I'm using that word, learned individuals that, you know, when they say something, you can't take it at face value. You have to be able to understand how they're talking metaphorically, right? You know, it's not because you say something that is actually what, you know, you mean. You know, you might have to interpret what the person says, right? But when you start to talk about defending your party, right? All things go out the window, you know. You defend your party
Correct.
by any necessary, right? You know, and that's kind of sad, so to speak. So I was shocked. And you know how I came up on the article from Daily? I googled mooks, crooks and mooks. I Google crooks and mooks, and all of a sudden, I see this article come up from 2019 with Martin Daly, Senior Congressman Martin Daly, writing about crooks, mooks, and jokes. I was like, wow, it's just, you know, but in Trinidad, you know, the politics and I mean, it has really gotten to a point where is that $2.6 billion disappeared into thin air and then reappeared.
Reappeared.
Yeah, reappeared. I
And
mean,
then because it mysteriously reappeared, you want to push the office holder who is responsible for accounting for your errors down a rabbit hole.
under the bus. You want to push her, and it's not PTSD bus, eh? They want to,
It's a big red P&M bus.
and that is sad. That is so sad. It is so
But you
sad.
can't. You see, you can't. The bottom line is you cannot want to accuse the Auditor General of dereliction of duty because she did perform her duty, which is she can't simply just take a document from you and say, okay, fine. She has to go through the process to ensure that this money is accounted for. Worse yet, when you say that you can't account for $1 billion, you expect a woman who you want she lose she what? You want she go to jail? Because what people, let me tell you something, huh? And that's why I say people need to pay attention to the Constitution and the public service regulations. The office holders that are responsible, permanent secretaries, the different office holders at the top in terms of the people who are accounting officers, like the chief personnel officer, the DPA, the auditor general, registrar general, these people, if they don't follow the rules and regulations as it pertains to accounting for public funds, they could go to jail. They could lose their jobs. They can be suspended. They could have their assets seized for the slightest error. What we need to that is the rigidity of the public sector rules and regulations. So if an individual, and Miss Ramda seems to be young, right, in the greater scheme of things, a new generational leader in the role comes along and say, I am going to stick to the book and do my job according to what I am supposed to do by virtue of the Constitution and the public service rules and regulations. Who is Imbert to tell her otherwise? Or Amor? We cannot, and that is why I keep saying we have to be able to understand where we are going and which direction we are heading politically.
You know, Dr. Mohammed, I wanna I think we beat that one
Yeah.
enough.
Well.
Well, but here is the one, right? And Marvin Gonzalez, the Minister of Public Utilities, indicated that, and I'm paraphrasing here, that he doesn't believe an MP should also be a minister because there is not enough time in the day in order for them to do both jobs, right? But
so then he should resign as a Minister of Cabinet.
Yeah, I'm asking myself. I believe I could do MP, I could do minister, I could run a development academy, I could teach a class, I could what the thing, boy? What is else, boy? I could go and run 5 miles. I could it to me it comes with time management. Do you believe an MP should also be a minister, or they should just be an MP and not a minister?
Let me tell you something from what I've understood this and why I think it is important. There are specific days in which MPs have their constituencies offices to go to. Um, Thursdays are normally for cabinet. So therefore, most MPs have Tuesdays because the Senate is in session on a Tuesday to go to their constituency offices. You have the ability to say after cabinet, I am going to my constituency for the other half day. But it is really and truly about time management. And I tell you why. I had the opportunity to work with Dr. Fuad Khan, and he held a critical seat of Baratory Asano and Minister of Health. And at no point in time did he come across as being stressed out or burnt out or incapable of performing his duties as an MP and as a minister. But what I've also found out is that when people are just senators and ministers, the power of being a minister gets to them. And then there is power struggles. And you then have to write your colleague, who is a senator and a minister, to get X or Y or Z for your constituency. As opposed to if you're a minister of government and an MP, and you're sitting down in the cabinet next to the person, you can have a conversation with him. Within your own framework of government, you can have ministers ducking MPs. You want to see, look, go and see about your constituency. I have a work to do. When I reach that point, when I reach that bridge, I'll cross it. Until then, you all have to wait. And you have that reality of that power struggle. There are schools of thought that an MP shouldn't be a minister. I think that is nonsense. Because if the MP cannot be a minister, then the prime minister shouldn't be a member of parliament, and that can't work. So that is nonsense talk. Because if an MP cannot be a minister, how could an MP be the prime minister? That making sense?
Yeah, no, I hear you. Exactly.
So if Marvin doesn't believe that an MP should be a minister, he should have resigned his job. Plain talk, bad manners. Because if that is your personal view and you feel so strongly about it, put your money where your mouth is. I hold a very different view. I believe that it is essential for a minister to also be an MP. There's a different level of communication. There's a different level of rapport. There's a different level of camaraderie. There's a different level of, and the word power comes into play here, where a man who is a minister and a senator, he could totally ignore an MP, especially if he have bad blood.
But then again, it comes down to your style of management. If you're a micromanager, or you're going to get a team and delegate.
But let me ask you this. The next thing is, how often will a member of parliament who is not in the cabinet get an audience with the prime minister?
That's a very
sometimes good. only during parliament when I have opportunity to see him and prime minister, I need to talk to you, madam prime minister, I need to speak to you a minute, right?
Well, except if you have the same hobby as the prime minister, if you play golf and you guys play golf together.
Correct, right? Whether you have the same social circles or whatnot. But what about if you just don't? What if you don't have the opportunity to see your prime minister as often as others? You might not see them in parliamentary caucus. You might see them in general council. You may see them in whatever national, wherever the UNC does have, it's parliamentary caucus. So you have to understand that it's a catch-22 position, and you cannot be ignorant to the fact that power plays a very critical role here. And when I talk about power corrupts and absolute power corrupts, absolutely, the word corrupt does not mean financially. It means ethically and morally.
True.
So That's how it is.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was just flabbergasted that. And then think about this, right? If you win as an MP, isn't the rewards in being a minister?
More so if it's a critical seat that you've been able to win.
Correct is right. So you telling me, but there are people who are MPs and they're just junior ministers. I mean, Fitzgerald Hines. He was never a minister under Patrick Manning. He was just a junior minister, right?
Correct.
And under Dr. Rowley, he has had about, I think this is his third ministry. He was public utilities. He was
youth and national service.
Yeah. Some youth before Foster Cummins became the Minister of Youth Development and whatever else it is. And then now he's Minister of National Security. Right? And this is the only time in the past 9 years that he was made a minister. He was never made a minister
No,
under
this
Patrick.
is the only time in his entire political career that he was ever elevated to a cabinet minister.
Which may well be 30 years or so.
Correct.
Yep. No, yeah. And if that is not instructive, that you in politics for about 30 years, you say, Tommy? 30 years?
Yes, it's about 30 years. Right?
All right. For 30 years, you in politics.
And take into consideration, during the period 2007 and 2010, he was not chosen to be a member of parliament. In 2007 to 2010, to be Laventil West was Eulalie James, and Laventil East was Laventil East and West was Eulalie James and Nyleon Hippolyte.
Right, Nyleon Hippolyte, Laventil West. You sure wasn't Donna Cox? Mova Laventil West?
Eulalie James at one point in time was MP for one of them, but Donna Cox was also MP for one of them as well.
Yeah, she was MP for Mova Laventil East at some point in time. Because here's why I remember that.
Yes.
Here's why I remember that. Because when the building broke, let's take this call. Hold on. Yeah, caller, Renison, welcome. Hello. Hello, caller. Sorry about that.
And these MPs and ministers.
Hold on. Caller, Renison, start over. Caller, start over. Sorry, that was my bad. Start over. Go ahead.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now. Go ahead.
Right. Now, it's a very interesting comment that you are saying, you and the political analysts that they shame. These MPs and them. No, these MPs and them is just MPs. No, we have our MP on record that is a pilot, which is Mr. Kennedy Richard. He was never a serving member in parliament. And we are seeing these things all over Trinidad and Tobago. In the PNM, I'm talking about the PNM. I'm talking about these people that most popular within the area, making them MPs just to win an election and they're not serving in parliament. So when you go to these people and them for certain things, they don't know how to address a situation. And here I was saying these things need to stop within the politics because you're seeing the putting puppets in certain areas just to win and they do what they want. And that's an interesting conversation on Wall Street.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, man. All right. Let's. You see, this is what I think, and Dr. Mohammed, you don't have to go down this road. I want to say this. Adrian Leons, in my estimation, should be a minister in Trinidad and Tobago. And here is why. And this is part of the problem we have in Trinidad and Tobago. Mova Laventil East should have been marching around the Prime Minister residence and Balize House going left first, then coming back right. Don't go one way. Go two ways. Marching and telling the Prime Minister it's unacceptable for you to take a fellow off the scrap heap or of the financer heap, bring him into the RPNM, and make him a junior minister in the Ministry of Finance, I believe, right? And Adrian
He's
Leon is a
now,
junior
he is
in
now
housing.
no housing.
He's housing, he's in housing, a junior minister in housing.
But I
I mean,
have met the gentleman, and I've met him, and
I know him
he's very much a very very respectable, very very nice person, and in terms of my interactions.
I worked with him for many years.
And a hard-working person in his constituency.
He's a civil engineer.
Donna Cox was Member of Parliament for Laventille East Mover 2007 to 2010. And then she got shifted out.
Yeah, she shifted out and they sent her to the consulate in New York, where she was not even in.
So Eulalie James would have been in 2002 to 2007.
Yeah. She was before. Yeah. And let me say this, you take someone off the scrap heap here in the United States of America in the consulate in New York. Tommy, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Take them off the scrap heap in the consulate in the US, because we know everybody. Well, I knew everybody in the consulate, down to the consul general and all kind of things, right? And she was even close to the consul general. And she came back to Trinidad and became a minister. And Adrian Leon's still sitting down there as a junior minister. And I say, wait, what? Think nice. Yeah, but people don't like to hear them talk, but I facts.
Yeah, I agree. Adrian is very competent as an engineer. He's a civil engineer. I worked with him for many years.
Competent as can be.
He would have been He would have been really good in public utilities. He would have been very good works.
Unbelievable in public utilities. We have this fella. Anyway. Yeah, but
you see, that is where remember I told you all about the politics, internal politics. And these fellas understand very clearly the politics that they are dealing with, the real politics that they're dealing with. And they understand that sometimes they just have to let sleeping dog fly. No, listen, and it has been shown. A man can be a minister in the Ministry of Finance or the minister in the Ministry of National Security and still be a cabinet minister. He could be minister in the Ministry of X or Y with cabinet responsibility. That doesn't prevent the Prime Minister from appointing him to cabinet. But Dr. Rowley is bent in sticking to certain things with regard to what he opposed, as opposed to what might be workable and what might be the most feasible approach to certain things. And sometimes you have to look at efficiency over your own personal perspectives. And efficiency in governance is a very important thing. And more so, having persons who are relatable, so people who you can speak to, people who can respond in a particular way. Far too often, government is disconnected from people. And that's the problem we face in this country.
And that is so true, because in my estimation, the Minister of Communication, which is Dino Brigger, that's what he's called? That's his name? Dino Brigger. He's Minister of Communication. And I don't really hear him communicating nothing. In my estimation, failed Gerald Hines will be better.
I agree.
At Minister of Communication than Minister of National Security.
No, I think I think I have it wrong as well.
Why is that?
I think he'll serve us perfectly well as the deputy speaker.
That's not a bad idea either. You know. I could
Outside
agree
of the
with.
government completely.
I can't disagree. I humbly agree with you.
He would do very well as a deputy speaker.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. I think you are absolutely 100% correct. Yeah. Maybe he could even be Speaker of the House too, you know. Maybe.
Nah, that
Nah?
is too much of a privilege. That would mean he's third in line to the presidency. No.
Oh,
Fifth in line to the presidency. No.
All right. Okay. Watch now, eh? Watch now, eh? Look, eh? This is no Capitan. This is a Capiza brother. I mean, this is we know we people failure of the leader of the PNM man and Roy to keep dead with oh God. You know, and but listen, guys, we support them support we. That is it. Yeah. Marvin don't know how water lose pressure going up a hill. Oh God. Julie
It is
says
so sick and it's not
Rastaman should
funny.
know absolutely no. No. We don't wanna go up against them Rastaman. But Dr. Mohammed, it is always a vibrant, informative discussion that we have for the people. And we have the young man who's called, he has an organization as well called the Workers' Rights Movement. And they are fighting for people in Trinidad as well. His name is called Renison. The guy who called he's fighting for justice and equal rights in Trinidad and Tobago as well. Renison, thank you so much for joining us. He always joins us here. But you know, a lot of people
Paul
like to
Renison.
listen. Eh?
Paul Renison.
Renison from work. No. Renison has I don't remember what Renison last name was now. I think that's his first name.
Renison.
Yeah? But yeah, Renison. But Dr. Mohammed, any closing words before you go? What before you go?
What you just gonna tell me?
Say that again.
I
Go
said we
ahead.
need to stop. We need to stop. My closing remarks is we need to stop thinking so narrowly and stop thinking unobjectively, because we are not going to be, it doesn't take us anywhere. And not because something looks good or sounds good, it means that it is good. Look at the depth. And you have to look at, you have to examine who your this is not a, listen, we're not going to be voting for a mayor or a councillor, not that I'm diminishing the office, but we are looking to elect the person, the man or the woman that is going to lead the country, hopefully for not just simply the next 5 years. Because I think Trinidad and Tobago needs a renaissance of leadership beyond 5 years in order to really and truly guide us and direct us in a position of prosperity and abundance. Because there's a lot of unaligned and misaligned targets that we have missed. And I think we need to start, come on people, and always remember that we are still very far away from an election day. And a day in politics is like a lifetime. Just wait. Something will happen. It has to. And we need a new generation of leaders in this country. That's a fact.
Dr. Mohammed, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Shane.
you so much. Thank you so much for having me on. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. Yeah. There you have it, folks. Folks, before you go, put closing comments in the chat. Put closing comments in the chat. You know, Tommy, you know something? That statement between crooks and mooks, you know, people really misunderstood that statement, man.
That's deep.
That's deep, you know. It's deep, you know. And when my son was able to explain that to me, being that he wasn't born in Trinidad, so he don't really know what a mook is, right? But he was able to explain it to me, you know, from the perspective of a person in front of your face as opposed to a person behind your back, right? It's better you know what a person gives than you don't know what a person gives, right? One in front of your face and one behind your back. And I think that the RPNM person was upset that Philip Alexander agreed with Mr. Harford with respect to crooks and mooks. Yeah, that was high science, man. That was real high science. High science. You know. But Tommy boy, I still can't get over Tommy. We talk about transparency and accountability. 2.6 billion, Tommy. 2 point, it was sometimes I say with Vietnam man, them was he talking about 2.6 million or 2.6 billion dollars. What's next?
What I really like, what I really like about the exercise is that Miss Ramdas would not be bullied. She's not being intimidated.
And what are going to do she? What could they do her?
She's doing her job as a professional.
Yep, she's doing her job. You know, them just wanted to just say, hey, listen, we missed 2.6 billion, just pay it back on the books. And that is it. Just make an adjustment. We go into parliament, we go pass it, and you just make the adjustment, and that is it. You ain't supposed to ask no questions.
And while she's trying to do her job, they're sending her pre-action protocol and all of that.
Can you imagine, boy? Boy, bravo, right, you know. Bravo, absolutely right, boy. Who take the S out of Port of Spain, boy? Somebody take the S out of Port of Spain.
Port of Pain.
Yes, Port of Pain. Yeah? Pain. Forever pain. Every day, every time you turn around, boy. And I'm asking the question, in the last 9 years, there seemed to be a veil of evil over Trinidad and Tobago. And some of the most wickedest, evilest, gruesome, despicable things happening in the country. And I don't think that is by chance. I don't think so. I just don't think so. Because a fish doesn't rot
from the tail.
There we go. There we go, Tommy. Thank you so very much. Folks, we're going to go for a short break. We'll be right back. It's Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, and you. Thank God for share. Okay, whatever that is. I see a thing just came in there. All right, we're going to go for a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE LP 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
We are back with you. Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. That's every Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. Let me quickly go in the chat here and see what's in here. Yeah. Eugene just got in. Eugene just go to church on Sunday, you know, Tommy.
That's a good thing.
Eugene, welcome. You miss a good one. Capitan said that's why he voted PNM. Is this Capitan or is this Capiza? No, that's Capitan. Or Arjun. You know, we haven't seen Arjun in a while.
He probably out to lunch or something.
You think he out to lunch?
Yeah.
All right.
Having
All right. I ain't gonna argue with that. So, folks, my closing comment is be careful who you let on your ship, because some people will sink the whole ship just because they can't be the captain. Be careful who you let on your ship, because some people will sink the whole ship just because they can't be the captain. From where I sit, this is it. The clock on the wall, so that's all I like to say, but I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. And for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. And remember, your circumstances may determine who you are, but you are responsible for who you become. Go ahead, Tommy.
My closing comment is don't fear failure. Be afraid of not having the chance. You have the chance. Like I say again, don't fear failure. Be afraid of not having the chance. You have the chance. Like I always say every time, be the man, be the change that you want to see. You that man in the mirror. However, if you look in that mirror and you don't like what you see, do not blame the mirror. Do not look down on a person unless you're giving them a hand up. Be safe until our next session, sometime tomorrow. It starts at 7 p.m. right here on WZYE. Till then, love you all.
Tommy, thank you. You know, I wanted to say welcome to Matilda. I don't know if I had said welcome to Matilda and JB Harper. Welcome, guys. So, folks, we are out of here. And this is so true about Trinidad and Tobago. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
This is oh Lord, Trinidad and Tobago. This is DJ Bravo. I'm hurting you know. This is a sad place. My country turned into a sad place. When I look around, it's only sad face. Our country turned into a sad place. All I see in front of me, nightmares turn into reality. Like somebody build a monster factory. Parliament up against parliament economy. But let the moderator send another body in a drain. Somebody girl child missing, another rape again. And next road stain with somebody sunburn. Who take the F out of Port of Spain? This is a sad place. My country turned into a sad place. When I look around, it's only sad face. Our country turned into a sad place. Now with the love, with the vibes, with the hope. Now tell me something, how we really want we cope. When the children breathing in too much gun smoke. And the Coast Guard can never see a boat. Yes, I'm going like some goats when they come looking for votes. Say to empty promises, reading like a horoscope. Justice for sale in a fat envelope. Politically, all the answers is a joke. This is a sad place. My country turned into a sad place. When I look around, it's only sad face. Our country turned into a sad place. All I see in front of me, nightmares turn into reality. Like somebody build a monster factory. Parliament up against parliament economy. But let the moderator send another body in a drain. Somebody girl child missing, another rape again. And next road stain with somebody sunburn. Who take the S out of Port of Spain? This is a sad place. My country turned into a sad place. look around, it's only sad face. Our country turned into a sad place.
It doesn't matter the religion, the color, the creed, or the race. It's our responsibility to take care of our place. Champion,